Hi, my name is Brianna David, and I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about Chino Valley Unified School District. I'm going to begin with a district overview that will cover the location, some of the schools, demographics, and the values that the district holds close to their hearts. Let's begin with where is it located. Chino Valley Unified School District is part of San Bernardino County, and it includes 2.5 cities, all of Chino Hills, and a part of Ontario. What type of schools are there? Well, the district is fairly large, so they have 35 schools in total. 23 of the schools are elementary, and majority of those schools go from K through 6th grade. There's 5 middle schools that these elementary schools feed into. Then they feed into 4 high schools. They also have 2 continuation schools, 1 community day school, and 1 charter school within the district's jurisdiction, if you will. Let's take a look now at what the demographics are like. As you can see from the graphic on the right, the number of students has declined ever so slightly. It's just dropped below 30,000 students, and the top 3 races that we see are Hispanic, white, and Asian. We see 57.2% of the students are Hispanic, 18% are white, and 14.2% are Asian. There are other races that attend these schools, but they just don't hold as high of a percentage. As I mentioned, there's 26,824 students, so just under 30,000 in average daily attendance. And there's also almost half of those students that attend that are on free or reduced meal prices. So they qualify under the law to be able to have free or reduced meal prices, which is 50% is a decent amount for a nice area. And then there's also 11% of students that are English learners in the Chino Valley Unified School District. That's a relatively small percentage considering that California has an average of close to 25% English learners, so that's a pretty small percentage for the state of California. All right, let's take a look at the mission that the district follows. On their website, I found this quote. It says, "The CVUSD, Chino Valley Unified School District, provides all students a rigorous and relevant education in a safe learning environment." So that's something that they follow, that as a district, they all agreed upon. They also have some core values. They include high academic expectations, building character, parents as partners in education, not just as parents, collaboration among teachers, other staff members, and among the entire community, excellent service, and a positive school climate. Next, I'm going to show you a little bit about the finances and accountability that the district hold, including trends we see in their finances, strategic plans, and their LCAP. Let's begin with what kind of financial trends the data demonstrates for the district. This is a graphic that shows the amount of funding per student, and currently they are behind the state average, and even their estimate for what they hope to get to by 2020-2021 is behind the average, sadly. They're trending toward more per student each year, which is excellent. However, still less than average. Their goal for 2021 is to get to $9,733 per student. Here's some more trends as well. Up at the top, you'll see a graphic for per student expenditures. The top line is the average of all districts. Right behind it, it's kind of hard to see, but there's an orange line. That's the average of unified districts. And the pink line, that's the average for this district. So again, behind the averages, this time quite a bit. And then the other data chart shows unrestricted salary and benefits cost to unrestricted expenditure ratio. And as you can see, they are right on the money, actually, right where average unified districts are and right where the average of all districts are. So they are doing something right. As for their LCAP, the Local Control Accountability Plan, they have 3 goals that they are trying to reach. Goal number 1 is that all students are provided a high-quality teaching and learning environment. Goal number 2 is that staff, parents, families, and students are connected and engaged to their school to ensure student success. And goal number 3 is that all students are prepared for college and career beyond graduation. So these goals really seem to aim for them growing beyond the time now to be better for the future. They also have some strategic plans, their goals for these plans, anyways. They want students to increase one proficiency level every year. So they're seeing every time they test them yearly, they want to see that they improve by one proficiency level. That they provide students with skilled instruction, which requires them to hire quality teachers. That there are 2 pathways for high school students to accomplish what they need to do in high school in order to make it to college and be successful. That they incorporate 21st century skills so that their teachers know how to work with today's 21st century learners, and that they build strong communication between all of the community. All right, now we're going to look at some district changes that have taken place in recent years, or even more recently than that, at all the levels. So we're going to begin with recent changes in the district. District-wide, they have been incorporating PBIS, the Positive Behavior Intervention System, and so far, so good. It's their first year, so there's a lot of kinks are still working out, but so far they have seemed to like it based on what an elementary teacher explained to me. From a board meeting, I learned that there are going to be 9 new history and science high school courses. 5 of them are AP courses, and 1 of them is an honors course, so that's really excellent that they're bringing in courses that are typically underrepresented. The elementary teacher also explained to me that they now have school site coaches that have been brought in that provide teachers with any of the resources they might need, help them lesson plan if required, teach different content if it seems sort of new and difficult, or just help them in general when they feel like they're having difficulty in the classroom. And also, there are lots of new intervention teachers that have been hired to help students with reading, which the elementary teacher said was really important because reading specialists across the district were cut a few years ago due to cutbacks and the economy being so poor. So it's really great that they brought some teachers back in a different way, but still in order to help students with reading, because that's one of the most important things they can be learning at school. There's also some new programs that they've implemented. There's something called Care Closet, and that's where students from the area who live within Chino Hills, or that little part of Ontario, can come and get clothes anytime they need, and it's just as long as they have a need, they can get some clothes for all ages too. It doesn't matter if they're in kindergarten or if they're seniors in high school, they can come get some clothes. They also have a family education program that helps young parents, that helps parents who are new to the area, new to the country, to kind of get a feel for what they can do to help their students and to learn for themselves as well. And they also have something called the Hope Family Resource Center. HOPE stands for Helping Our People Every Day. And the Hope Family Resource Center has counseling, childcare, they have food for people or family who need it, and tutoring as well. And there's lots of other things that they have there. So that's a really cool new program that they've implemented in the district. So with all of this information, some strengths have shown through. I'm going to discuss those now. First, we see trending toward their LCAP goals. So the district itself is trending toward their LCAP goals, which is a really great thing. We always want to strive to meet our goals, so it's great to see them trending toward that. They have leading scores in student achievement, and it's a small community feel in a large district. So as I talked to the elementary teacher, she said, it doesn't seem to matter that the district is so large. Everyone feels like family, which is a really important thing. They also have a strong superintendent. He is, however, retiring, but what he has done is put in place a lot of really great programs so that the district can continue to thrive even without him. They made it onto the 5th annual Advanced Placement District Honor Roll, so their AP classes are really doing great for them, and as I mentioned, they're getting new ones, so that could potentially help them continue to thrive in that area. And they offer many programs for students who are in great need. So those clothing, the food, the tutoring, all those things that they probably wouldn't be able to get otherwise are now offered thanks to the district. But with every strength comes some challenges. So the district also has a few challenges. Let's talk about those real quick. As we mentioned, and from what we could see in the graphics, they are behind state and district averages in funding and expenditures per student. There is minimal technology in the schools with the exception of Title I schools. So most of their schools lack technology. No smart boards, hardly any Chromebooks to be seen, very, very little extra technology floating around. They also lack cutting-edge training and teaching practices. After talking to the principals and to the elementary teacher, they both just said the funding isn't there to provide their teachers with the kind of training and teaching practices that they need, which is really unfortunate because that places the burden on the teachers to go out and spend tons of money to get this training that they need to be really excellent teachers. There's also a high turnover rate with policymakers in the district. The principal was explaining to me that they've had 3 different curriculum directors in the last 5 years, and there's really important roles in those higher up policymakers in the district. And so with this high turnover rate, it's impossible for them to continue growing if someone's always new and learning in those positions. And the district is large, as we've mentioned before, which means that there's too many personnel with a voice. So the district is always being pulled in a bunch of different directions and never really making the decisions they need to make in order to progress in certain areas, such as technology. So I do have a few recommendations. I am no expert in how districts run or how policy works. However, based on what I do know, I can offer a few recommendations for Chino Valley Unified. One is to direct funding toward technology. I think technology is so important to have in schools, and the students, they're comfortable with that kind of learning and they need to be able to have that access. So there's 2 different websites that could help provide the different schools with funding. One is getedfunding.com. It's super easy, you just apply, and a lot of schools are granted, and I believe that Chino Valley would be granted this type of technology because it is so important, and so many schools now have it that they look like the odd man out. As also, Donors Choose is a great way for individual teachers to get resources that they need for their classroom, including technology. Another recommendation I have is to reduce district personnel. Maybe streamline the job so that decision making can be better, restructuring the way the district is run because it is a little bit outdated. Also, providing more school-wide professional development and teacher training. Teachers can never learn enough. As students are growing, teachers need to be growing and constantly changing with the new things that we're learning. So if they don't have the opportunity to go to these professional development or teacher training sessions, then they're not going to grow in the district's numbers. Their academic achievement is just going to decline. Right now it's steady, but it can't always be that way if quality teachers aren't continuing to learn. And finally, hire quality teachers to continue the trend toward reaching district goals. Without this training, the quality teachers will not be so quality anymore unless they're choosing to go out and spend their own money. So it's really important that quality teachers are hired in order to make sure that the district continues to meet their goals and they continue to trend toward high student achievement. And finally, here are a bunch of the sources I used, a few websites, 2 interviews, and a board meeting attendance. This is just the link to the minutes. Thank you for listening, and I hope this was informative.